Hey, great stuff. So I think that's everybody for what we're expecting today. But no worries if you've not been able to attend today. So just to let you all know that these calls are recorded and these will be sent straight to you following the finishing of the webinar. We'll send it out, and it will also be available online for you to view should you require it in the coming days. So yeah, just a bit of housekeeping. If you do have any questions as we go through this webinar, please feel free to drop them in the chat. What we'll do is that we'll cover them all off and round up at the end of the session in our Q&A section. But please do feel free to, if you do have any questions as we're going through this call, please feel free to spam the chat with the questions, and then we'll get back to them at the end. But yeah, so just a small short introduction. So I myself, hi, I'm Lewis Williams. So I am the Power Platforms engineer within Cobweb. So I'm the engineer that does most of the technical side of Power BI and Power Platforms as a whole. So I cover off Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power BI. But today we are just going to focus down on the Power BI section of Power Platforms. So we will get started. So what we're going to do, the format of this webinar is generally we go through an overview of the program. We will then look into licenses expenses, a case study submitted by Microsoft. So we'll go through a big business use with a company that you should know of. And then we will explain how Cobweb uses Power BI. We'll give you the opportunity to ask any questions should you feel the need to. And we'll also run through a training section of where we will highlight the training that we offer to best benefit you with starting in this section should you want to. So we'll start off with the overview. So Power BI is a business analytic tool which offers easy connection to various data sources. From these data sources, you can create visuals and gain business insights into your data in a quick and simple to understand report. We start by connecting to your data. So Power BI offers multiple data connectors for you to easily connect to the data sources like Dynamics Dataverse, SQL, and SharePoint. Data connectors are used to pull data into the Power BI report or dashboard in order for the data analysis to be completed. Power BI also offers data connectors for many third-party data sources, such as Salesforce, Google Analytics, SurveyMonkey, and many more. Within the Power BI service, there is also the capabilities of creating a data flow. This is a very similar setup to the Get Data function within Power BI. Data flows allow you to configure data from a data source so that it can be reused many times by different reports. This is then saved within your Power BI service as a data source option. We will cover off the Power BI service and how you access that later on in the call in the more in-depth detail about Power BI. To be able to utilize a data flow within a report, simply select the Power BI data flow connector as you would a SQL connector or a Dataverse or Google Analytics connector. Once connected to the data, you can link the tables together using relationships. And then you can start, once the relationships have been built, you can start your data understanding. So within Power BI the desktop application, there is a resource called Power Query Editor. This allows you to complete advanced customizations on your data, such as data type changes, renaming columns, custom column creation, as well as offering a data merge and append functions, which allows you to add additional data from external data tables into your current data set. This feature is also available in the data flow setup as well. So you can do the same within data flows. Power Query Editor is a tool used to transform your data as will allow a lot of data analytics to be completed. For example, changing data types is a crucial change, with the biggest example being most Dataverse solutions have a date and time format. This can often cause issues when using dates specifically, as the time can affect the data analysis or bucket date data into separate individual time groups. Custom column creation is also a crucial step to be completed through Power Query Editor, should they be required. For example, this can often be used to group products. Power BI offers an expansive range of built-in visuals such as bar and line graphs, pie charts, tables, data filters, and much more. Alongside the built-in offerings, Power BI also offers third parties to develop visuals and install them within the Power BI desktop applications. These visuals, so these custom visuals, are a key feature of Power BI, as data visuals are how Power BI gives the creative and colorful visuals in an easy to understand format. So the visuals are how we deliver the data understanding within Power BI. With all of these features explained previously, this will give your business access to crucial data you may not have had access to previously, in a form that is quick and easy to understand, as well as being nice on the eyes. Most of the data visualizations that Power BI delivers will be in the form of imagery visuals. For an example, the image on the right-hand side of the slide deck is a demo of a Power BI report. As you can see, the report contains various visuals to display the data in a form that is quick and simple to understand. Alongside these visuals, you can also choose to display table records, which will hold your data in a similar format to your database so that you can see your clear raw text data. With this, we will now look at the two key areas of Power BI, the desktop and the service. So we'll drill down to the in-depth details of the Power BI desktop as well as the Power BI service. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll start off with the desktop. So this is on the left-hand side of the screen. This is a screenshot within the screen, as you can see. Power BI Desktop is a free application which you can install locally onto your computer. This will allow you to connect and transform and visualize your data. Power BI Desktop allows you to connect to multiple different sources of data, combining them to create a data model. This data model then enables you to build visuals and collections of visuals in a shareable format, a report. These reports can be shared with other users inside your organization, with most users who work on business intelligence utilizing Power BI Desktop to assist them in their roles. So if generally it is expected in the data analysis industry, if you are doing data analysis, you will use Power BI in some form, as long as it is low-level data analysis. Obviously, if you go into your high-level data analysis, you do move into a different beast entirely. But Power BI will help you for your most citizen development data analysis. So we'll move on to reports now. So in the report view, you can create reports and visuals. So this is where you will develop the main user experience for your reports. When developing a Power BI report, the first step is connect to the data. There are many different data sources that you can connect to from Power BI. You start this by navigating to the home ribbon and select Get Data. This will then list all of the connections available to Power BI. Currently, there is over 200 connectors ranging from Microsoft systems, as mentioned previously, so Dataverse, SQL, and also reaching out to Google, Facebook, Salesforce, GitHub, Sage, and many, many more. When you have selected your chosen data connector, you will then be asked for information such as URL and credentials. This is crucial to allow Power BI to continue to connect to your data. The URL gives Power BI the location of the data, while credentials gives Power BI access to ingest the data over time. So without your credentials being installed, Power BI would not be able to access that data, so it would immediately fail. After connecting to one or more data sources, you'll then want to transform your data into a model to make it more useful. So using the connectors valid, you are able to connect to multiple data sources. So if you wish to, you could link Google data with Salesforce data with Microsoft data. The only requirement for you to be able to link all those data together is to have a unique identifier within the two linking tables so that the data can mesh properly and so that the data analysis can happen across multiple data sources. Without that relationship, this will not be the data analysis will not be able to be completed. So when viewing the data within Power BI, you see tables, measures, and other data used within the data model, which is associated with your report. This is usually in the format of having your tables displayed in the center within with a section of controls on the right-hand side. When managing your data within Power BI, it is recommended that you use the built-in Power Query Editor. With Power Query Editor, you make changes to your data such as changing data types, removing columns, or combining your data from multiple data sources until you have sculpted your data into the model that you require to be able to deliver your required data analysis. Some data requires more management than others, though. For example, when using Excel data, often a lot of manipulation is required to get the data into a manageable view, unlike resources such as SQL or Dataverse, which are built as databases. So each step you take in transforming data, such as changing data types or removing columns, is recorded by the Power Query Editor, meaning each time you connect to your data, the Power Query Editor runs through all of your steps before delivering the final model. This then helps keeping your data identical in the format that you expect it to be, so that the data analysis can be completed uniformly over a period of time. So once you've completed your data development, you will have a model. So when utilizing multiple data sources in a single report, a way to relate these tables together is to allow cross-table data analysis. These relationships are held within the modeling area of Power BI. Cross-table relationships are crucial to allow us to analyze the full data model, as without them, we would not be able to complete any form of multi-table visual. This means that visuals are restricted to a single table of visualization, meaning that your data slices would not be valid, and any of your amendments or any of your selections that you make within your visuals will not affect each other. So it will limit your data analysis. That covers off what is offered mostly as a high level within Power BI Desktop. So now what we'll do is we'll move on to the Power BI service. So if you do purchase any of the premium licensing for Power BI, be that Pro or Power BI Premium, you will unlock an online service called Power BI Service. This is where you can upload your reports to be shared with other users internally or externally within your organization. This service is split into buckets where you can organize your reports called workspaces. Workspaces hold reports, data flows, dashboards, apps, as well as data sources of other live reports. The Power BI service also offers you access to data flows, as mentioned previously. Data flows allow you to set data to ingest, making that data model available to all users that flow is shared with. The Power BI service supports report editing as well as collaboration for teams and organizations. You can connect to data sources in the Power BI service, although modeling is limited. The Power BI service can be used to edit current live reports, as well as design and create dashboards, which we will highlight in a moment. In both the application and the service, you can build and edit Power BI reports. A report can have one or many pages, with visuals and collections of visuals. Collaboration is also a key supported feature of Power BI service. So using the collaboration features allows you to publish a report to the Power BI service so that you can share it with the users in and outside of your organization. Your report consumers can then view the published report as long as they have access. This offers non-developers view-only access, meaning that they don't have all the access to the report creators have, but they do have the option to download the Power BI report in a PDF, HTML, or Power BI report format, should this permission be granted within the admin center. So what we'll do is we'll move on to explain dashboards a little bit. A dashboard is a feature that you can create in the Power BI service, or something a colleague with access creates and shares with users. A dashboard is a single canvas that contain tiles and widgets. Each tile is pinned from a report or from a Q&A to display a single visualization that was created from a dataset. Entire reports can be pinned to dashboards as well as a single tile. Some of these features in dashboards allow you to see all your data in one glance, allow monitoring of the most important information in your business, as well as create personalized views of a larger data set. So workspaces are held in the same area as dashboards are held in the same area as live reports inside your workspaces. So dashboard or an example dashboard is on the right hand side of this page. So as you can see, there are multiple visuals covering marketing and sales for Megan, and these give her brief bits of information so that she is aware of what's happening within her department. As previously mentioned, we'll now cover data flows. So data flows help your organization to unify data from disparate data sources. Often used in complex or larger projects, they represent data prepared and in stages to use by a data set. So data flows are accessed by Power BI Desktop with a dedicated connector, as previously mentioned. And after connecting to your data flow, your data set will use the previously prepared data and business logic. This in turn promotes a single source of the true data, allowing for reusability natively. Data flows are only created and managed within the workspace, and they are stored as entities in the common data model within the Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2. Typically, they are scheduled to refresh on a reoccurring basis so that they store up-to-date data. This is a great way of preparing data for use and potentially reuse by other reports. So should you have a data set that you expect to be shared multiple times within your organization and you expect multiple users to need to do data analysis over it, but within different areas or different departments of the business, a data flow would be the best advice for setting up. So this isn't the only feature held within the desktop and service, as we would run out of time if we went through them all. So what I've decided to do is I've just cherry picked some of the key main features that we within Cobweb utilize on a daily basis so that it best helps yourselves. Okay, so we've explained what Power BI is, but we haven't explained how you can get access to start using some of the amazing features held within Power BI. So initially, Power BI Desktop is a free install that you can either install from Microsoft Store or alternatively the Power BI download website. So this is just the Power BI Desktop, which is free to install. This allows you to load data, build reports, and customize your data sets, allowing you to scope out the capabilities of Power BI prior to spending a penny. Although you can ingest data, build relationships, as well as build reports, you aren't able to share these files live with other users. And to be able to unlock the share capability, this does require you to purchase a Power BI Pro license. So the paid for licenses starting at £17.50 per calendar month, Power BI Pro. Power BI Pro includes all of the great features listed above and previously in discussions regarding the Power BI Desktop, but it does include the Power BI service, where live reports are held, able to be viewed by other users, as well as set up automatic refreshing to allow your data to keep up to date. So should you have a finalized report that you wish to publish, you would publish it within the Pro system. But if you are unsure about your company's adoption into Power BI, we would recommend you trialing the Power BI Desktop by simply downloading the program. Moving on to the other paid licenses, Power BI Premium, starting at £15.10 per calendar month per user. So Power BI Premium is includes many other advanced features, including the option to increase your premium capacity should your Power BI resources grow larger than the original capacity. So Premium introduces many features such as paginated reports, concurrent refresh schedule, allowing 40 reports to refresh at the same time within your tenant, as well as increasing the data model limitations, meaning that you can have larger data sets, and increasing the refresh limits, meaning that you can refresh up to 48 times in a day as opposed to 12, as well as many, many more features. Generally, what we would recommend is that most people, when we start on Power BI Pro. As Cobweb, we still utilize Power BI Pro, and we haven't reached the terms of where Power BI Premium is recommended because we still haven't reached our refresh schedules and our concurrent refreshes. So we would recommend you don't need to jump straight into Premium, unless there is a specific feature that you are looking for. We would recommend you test the waters with Pro and see how your organization's adoption gets on. So there are currently two licensing models for Premium, per user and per tenant. Increased capacity is available on the per capacity license, or the per tenant license, sorry, but it isn't available in the per user. So if you are interested in Premium, please feel free to reach out to your account manager, and we will then book an appointment of where we run through your requirements, and we will best recommend the correct product for yourself. So some of you may also already have access to Power BI in the Power BI Pro features through seeded licenses. So Power BI Pro is actually included within the Microsoft 365 E5 subscription, meaning that there is no need for you to purchase a Power BI Pro license to gain the full Power BI service should you already have a a Microsoft E5 license assigned to your user. Okay. So that's the end of the licensing requirements. So you have many options within Power BI. Just to cover off what we covered, Power BI Desktop is free. Power BI Service is paid for. The service starts at £7.50 per user per calendar month, ranging to £15.10 or £3,766.70 per tenant. Those per tenant licenses, it does sound like a big number, and it does sound like a big scary number, but that does license all of your users within your tenant to access Power BI, meaning that you no longer need to pay for per user licenses as long as you have that per capacity license, since that per capacity covers all of your users licensing within. So you do gain your money back, and you do save money from the per capacity license. So now that we've explained the licensing, what I would like to do is we'll now cover off the Microsoft case study. So Nestle was a company that we looked at when we were looking for this case study, and they had a fantastic case study where they've utilized Power BI very, very fully within their organization, and have actually delivered on a significantly large data analysis solution, which I wish to discuss with yourself. So we'll take a dive through that. So Nestle is the largest food company in the world, and a key to its success has been its ability to balance continuity with change. The company is aware that its employees require better access to data to support quick market reactions. The company developed a centralized data warehouse, but required it to combine with local data sets to improve decision making and provide information on sustainable organic growth. Using Power BI and leveraging Azure resources into this project, Nestle created a strong and lasting solution to help the company keep up with the speed of change, while staying true to its purpose and values. So Nestle has over 291,000 employees and 403 factories. And with such a large company, finding and managing the right tools for employees to make valuable business decisions is both vital and challenging. As such, Nestle implemented Power BI around 4 years ago, and this was aimed to empower those who make business decisions to access the data that they require when they need it, without waiting for a centralized BI team to develop the reports and deliver on their data analysis. With the enormous size of Nestle, navigating how to scale data to the entire company and allow quick responses to market actions is always a challenge. To manage this challenge, Nestle has developed a centralized data warehouse. This needs to combine this centralized data with other local data sets provided to provide opportunities for improved decision making and sustainable organic growth. Nestle is focused on growing self-service BI to stay competitive, as well as to bring the data to the employees in a modern and efficient way. So having quality data and reliable analytics, while also enabling the business users to create and share information with peers, has been important when choosing what tools to implement. So Nestle selected Power BI in 2018 to help business users to find the right data to react to the market. By expanding Power BI to more of the organization, Nestle have been able to eliminate the previous BI tools, which in turn allows Nestle to position themselves as a modern and advanced company. The analytics technology stack at Nestle consists of 4 areas, as you can see within the screenshot on the slide deck. These components from these areas are the building blocks for successful analytics tools. So it started with the BI tools and platforms, moved on to the machine learning and statistical platforms. There was the data management and the data management solutions, as well as the data governance and integration. So these can be seen on this image in the slide to give you a visual representation of each component. So having the 3 layers as you go down, so the BI tools and platforms, machine learning, and the data hub platforms, as well as having the governance on the right-hand side. Okay, so areas such as strategic revenue management, marketing, and customer segmentation use these building blocks as the basis for analytical solutions and services at Nestle. Power BI and SAP Business Objects are used as the BI tools throughout the organization. Nestle chose Power BI due to the freedom given to users and the small learning curve it requires for users who are unfamiliar with Power BI technologies. The cloud journey at Nestle includes delivering new business cases that historically would not have been possible with their on-scale premise platforms. Moving to cloud provides a more scalable, efficient, and advanced solution. Nestle have also looked to include machine learning. Users have been utilizing a Q&A feature within Power BI to ask questions in a plain text format, which result in generating dashboards as well as statistical platforms within their analytics service. This also allows the Nestle to focus on governance, as well as also having established a Center for Excellence with skilled data and analytics professionals within their organization. So while growing the data warehouses on SAP, there is a growing ecosystem of in-cloud data management platforms, including Microsoft Azure for one. Nestle continues to invest in Azure technologies one step at a time to help ensure best practices, as well as establishing lasting foundations for future advancements to help with data governance, accessibility, storage, and transformation. So, when originally starting to deploy the deployment of Power BI, the desktop application was made available to all employees at Nestle. These employees were able to familiarize themselves with the tools, including data connectivity, modeling, visualizations, and the features offered within these areas. Sharing reports was restricted to downloading and emailing only to keep the early adoptions contained, and so that they didn't have resources that would be continually available on the cloud, having not had authorization for that. Nestle performed the Power BI Cloud Compliance Assessment and released Power BI Pro to a pilot users of around 700 employees, allowing specific business users to author and share Power BI content. During this pilot phase, Nestle also introduced Power BI Premium and implemented 3 global enterprise gateways. This allowed them to unify their data in one location so that globally their data could be accessed. In 2018, Nestle released Power BI to all of its users globally. Since becoming generally available, the company's user base has grown to over 45,000 monthly active users. So a good percentage of Nestle are actually using Power BI in their day-to-day life. As Nestle developed its strategy around self-service BI, it has taken action in phases and incrementally implementing Power BI. It continues to create a strong and lasting solution. So rather than just allowing their staff just access and free reign, they've baked in governance and incrementally implementing this new features allows for the company to contain any changes or any issues should they arise. Now that Power BI is used all around the world at Nestle, a marketing application was designed to provide a single dashboard style interface that gives access to critical business and brand performance metrics that inform important business decisions for Nestle Purine Pet Care, an animal food brand that Nestle own. So as you can see on the left-hand side of the screen, it's got the example of the Power BI app and the Power BI dashboard. So the dashboard compiles Purina market data from a variety of internal and external data sources, including data from media agencies such as Nielsen's, custom research, syndicate sales source, and social media, as well as point of sales. So this Power BI application presents 2 report pages of any company, of any of the company's brands. The brand sales metrics page incorporates retail sales and shipment data from a variety of sources to provide overall pictures of a brand's health from financial perspective. With all shipment and financial data together, dashboard users can get the whole picture to make a strategic decisions on actions to cut costs and increase sales. The second page, the consumer metrics page, incorporates brand equity, brand sentiment, household panel data, and consumer contacts from a variety of sources to give an overall picture of how well the brand is regarded. Having all of the data combined in one place leads to the team to conceptualize why perceptions of a certain way and react to adjust accordingly. Power BI consumers can visualize equity metrics in a certain time frame to gain deeper insights, so they can get those important visuals out to them in a reasonable time frame. Power BI Pro and Power BI Premium make it so that there is so those who need the reports can access them without having to email files from person to person, without having to email logins to data sources as well. Users can also customize reports to personalize the data that's necessary to help them make their best data-driven decision for their role. While Power BI was initially positioned as a self-service BI tool for business users, the tool's success has also led to implement Power BI within their IT system. So some IT reports are now created in Power BI and are used as a centralized BI throughout the company to provide global data. So what Power BI has done is that it's not only unlocked a fantastic data analysis and full solution for Nestle, it's also unlocked their their IT department to utilize Power BI to create notifications and data analysis over entirely global amounts of data. This isn't all Nestle have done though, and we would strongly recommend that you read the full case study. Should you wish for the link, just drop me a message in the chat and I'll put the link across. But we would seriously recommend you reading through this case study to get the full understanding of what Nestle have developed, as unfortunately, as previously stated, we're not able to cover every sentence in the report in this session, but we would strongly recommend you look at the Nestle reports as well as the other case studies that Microsoft offer to see business uses which could be available for your company, which you may never have thought of. So now we're going to move on to how Cobweb uses Power BI. And unfortunately, due to the sensitive nature of our Power BI reports, I'm unable to share examples of Cobweb's internal Power BI reports. But we do have an old exercise log, which was offered as a training for an employee. That is an example of some design capabilities of Power BI, as well as showing some examples of visuals, which we'll break down. So in the screenshots on the left-hand side of this page, you can see multiple different visuals offered to deliver the information as we require it. So in the top one, we have a bar chart with the exercise breakdown. So it covers the amount of kilometers that each exercise has been completed with, as well as a donut chart giving the same information below it. There's a couple of donut charts available within this, which gives us users. So it allows us to see the user data, to see how much exercise each user has logged, as well as the total kilometers run in a card format. We also have table data as well, which allows us to view the raw data as it's delivered in the database. So sometimes a table is the most easiest way to describe data. Sometimes you want to see how much your reports or how many products you've sold without having the visualization aspects. Sometimes you just want the raw text, and that's what the table delivers. But the visuals and the bar charts and donut charts allows you to have a percentage and a more visualized look. So sometimes it's often more memorable than a number or just a random number giving out. On the second page, we also have a user tracker. So this allows you to, in the right-hand corner, there's a thing called a data slicer, which allows you to filter the data down. In this case, it's filtered via the user. So should you flick between the users, you would see the different users' data displayed. So for example, we've got Lewis Williams selected. So we've got myself, my record selected. So you can see all of my records and you will only see my records. So this is just one example of a training report that we completed. But within Cobweb, we utilize Power BI in many, many ways. Using both Power BI Desktop and the Power BI service, we were able to deliver data analytics and data statistics to key areas of the business, allowing Cobweb to make the best decisions by following the true data source. Some examples of these dashboards are a senior leader data delivery. So that is a way that we are able to deliver our key data, so our sales data, our records, our service desk data. We're able to deliver that to senior leaders of the business so that they are fully aware and have the full scope of what the business is completing and how the business is growing. We also have product sales statistics, which allow our sales team to see the high earners and the low earners on what products they have to push. So if we've not sold any of X amount of products, the sales team will then push that product should they have the requirements in a customer. And it allows us to spot trends. So it allows us to see when a product is selling significantly so that we can then put offers on that product. We also offer employee targeting. So all of our employees, if they are on a bonus scheme, they have access to an incentive pay app. And that application shows them their history of their utilization and their statistics on how likely it is that they will reach their bonus or not. This allows for KPI tracking as well to be delivered within Power BI. And all this does is that it delivers the raw information that employees would not previously have had access to. It delivers it to the employees so that they have a full understanding of what is happening within their organization and within their own workspaces. Sometimes it is very easy to misplace this and to lose scope of what your objectives are doing or how many products you're selling or many of the other things that Power BI delivers. It covers it all off and it delivers the data where it is needed, as well as offering employees the sense to be able to choose the correct decision because that decision is backed up by data. Okay, so we will now move into the Q&A section. So if you do have any questions, now is the time to ask it. So drop them in the chat. I do see that that we have a couple of questions which I'll go answer, which I will answer through now, just while we're waiting for any other questions. But feel free to drop any in should you have any. So we can pull. So yes, we can pull multiple data, or we can pull data from multiple different data sources. So should you have data that is held within a SQL server and you're wishing to access and you're wishing to relate that data to data held within SAP or Sage, for example, as long as there is a unique identifier to link those two data sources together, that would be possible to complete that data analytics. So we actually within Cobweb, we actually have a service or a Power BI report which actually does take in multiple data sources. So we've got one called the Secure Score report, and what that does is that it pulls in API data from Microsoft's core servers, and it integrates that with our data, our internal CRM data. So with that, we've been able to link the data via the Microsoft ID as the unique identifier to be able to link that Microsoft data with our own CRM data. So there is a working example immediately there to answer your question, Ruth. Okay, Power BI can be incorporated into .NET pages. So yes, I believe that is capable. So I don't believe that's fully supported within Power BI and within Microsoft, but there are external entities. So for example, I believe that you can host a Power BI within a .NET frame via a app registration via Azure in an Azure subscription. I believe that does come at the expense of hosting the .NET framework. But yes, I believe that there is the incorporation. But Rekha, if you would like to reach out to your account manager, just touch bases with that. And what we will do is that we are more than happy to contact you, and we will do a communication, have an appointment with you to see if we can help you with your requirements and see the full scope of your needs. So please do reach out to your account manager. So one question that we haven't really answered is training. So it's an immediate question which everybody will have on their minds is how can they train for Power BI? So what we'll do is we'll move on to that now. So Cobweb offers training to assist your organization with Power BI as well as the Power Platforms as a whole, as previously mentioned in the other webinars. So currently Cobweb offers the full range of courses, starting off with Power Platforms Fundamentals. I think we've covered this exam off in every discussion that we've had in every webinar so far, but it is such a core foundation for you to really build upon in your Power BI and your Power Platforms experience and your knowledge of Power Platforms. So the fundamentals, that covers off Power Automate, Power Apps, as well as Power BI. Of course, it is an entry-level course, so it is a very high-level overlook. But what that will do is that will give you full scope of the Power Platforms. Next in the calendar, we have Power BI Dashboard in a Day. So this course is similar to every other in a day courses. So it's similar to App in a Day and Flow in a Day. But basically, it is where you will learn the basics of Power BI and you will have hands-on active experience of building a Power BI report. So if we navigate back to, just to flick back so that you've got an example, if we navigate back to the screenshots used within the desktop and service page, we have actually developed a Power BI. This is the dashboard that you develop within Dashboard in a Day, as it's one of the best examples that we could have used. So it's a Van Arsel database that you will utilize. Within Dashboard in a Day, you will learn using Excel how to connect the data, how to model your data, as well as how to publish a finished report using the Power BI developers subscription. Again, we would strongly recommend that you do attend to the Power BI Dashboard in a Day. It's the best way to get active experience on Power BI without learning from a book and actually hands-on experience. It is also hosted by myself. So if you're not already bored of seeing this face, you will see more of me there. But we are hosting it in September. So I do hope to see plenty of you here for it. So moving on to sort of more advanced certifications, we are also starting to offer the Power Platforms PL 300 certification. So it's an advancement on the PL 900, but focusing down fully on data analytics. So this is a brand new course that used to be the DA 300, but they've pulled it across to be included within the Power Platforms certifications. So this is a full analysis on the data modeling and the data analysis offered within Power BI. Of course, everything covered today, this isn't all the training that has been offered by Cobweb. So should you have any further questions, please feel free to reach out to your account manager and they will walk you through the full catalogue of exams. Oh, sorry, we've just had another question pop up that I'm just going to cover off. Bear with me just a second. So no, so the certifications, and to be able to get the certifications, you don't actually have to go through any of the formal training. You can go straight for the exams and take the exam straight away. So should you have enough experience, you can go straight for the certifications. Although we would recommend you do attend the training should you not have any prior experience of Power BI. It will make it much easier. I believe a lot of the training, so for example, the Power Platforms Fundamental, I believe that's a 2 or a 3-day course, as well as the PL 300 being a 3-day course. But the app in a day is just a single day course. The dashboard in a day, not the app in a day. That's the wrong course. The dashboard in a day is not a certification though. So you will not get anything official from Microsoft to say you have something certified. You will Power BI dashboard in a day is a sort of is a very is a more experience-based certification. So there's no official recognition from completing it. So it's informal training. So you can reach out to me directly, but it is best to contact your account manager in the first instance, and then the account manager will set up the appointments, but it will be myself that you will discuss this with in the meeting should you require it. But yeah, feel free to reach out to me and contact myself directly. I will then just loop in the account manager so they are aware of these conversations, just so that they're not covering and not missing anything off. But yeah, feel free to reach out. But that's everything that I've got for today. So thank you all for no worries. Thank you, Rekha. So thank you all for attending today. It was a good session that we've covered off today. I hope you have found the information that we have covered here informative. And should you have any other questions, first instance will be go straight to your account manager. They are ready and waiting to help you to assist with this. We will set out time. We've got time set out already to be able to book appointments. So I hope to contact you soon. But thank you all for attending, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day.